everyone, Leanne here from Jada Blossom, and I have another fun sports theme card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jada Blossom's Have a Ball Know Me stamp set. They're Have a Ball Know Me outline dies. They're gnome dies. They're gnome dies sport add-ons too, and they're stylized scalloped rectangle dies and the stylized rectangle dies. And I'm using Photoplay's Holiday Plaid 6-inch pad and Doodlebug's Goal 6-inch pad and P13 stamping pad skin tones. Now I did put this guy together on the Gnome Dies Sport Add-ons 2 assembly video, so check that out if you want to watch. But really, for this, I really only wanted to use grass paper. So if you have grass paper, use that. So first I have an A2 size card base made out of paper tray ink cardstock, 4.25 by 11, scored up 5.5 inches. And then I'm using the stylized rectangle and the scallop stylized rectangle dies. Now the green in the background, that is from that Photoplay Holiday Plaid pad. It's got some solids in there. So I'm using a darker green solid and then framing up that grass paper because it's going to look like a golf green. That's what I'm going for. On the inside, I'm going to add a strip of that grass paper. It's like 3/4 of an inch or something like that. It was thin, whatever was left over. And then I have a piece of this plaid that was left over that was more like 1.5 inches or so. And I'm going to add that to the inside as well. It's the same color as his hat, or the same paper that I used on my little funny golfer's hat. And I'll trim off that overhang with a pair of scissors. Now I did put, like I said, I put these little items together on the Gnome Dies Sport Add-ons 2 assembly video. You can watch that. Like go under Gnome Assembly. I've got a little file for that on YouTube. And you can watch it and see me put it together. Everything will be listed though, what I used on my blog. And it's always linked under this video, like under each video. So now I'm going to stamp a sentiment. You'll notice that I cut it apart on a previous time to use, but you can fit them back together. Just be careful. There we go. So it says simply put, you are the best. And then on the front, it'll say something like wishing you a Tee-Riffic birthday, right? So I'm going to stamp that in VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink using my Misty. It's kind of a fun play on words, right? Now on the outside, I'm going to stamp a sentiment here on white paper tray ink cardstock with that same VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink, wishing you a Tee-Riffic birthday. And then I'll use the outline dies from the Have a Ball Know Me stamp set to cut it out. But like I always say, be careful because it is like it'll smear. Right? So be careful if it's not dry. Okay, so I've got my little gnome holding my putter. So this is kind of a fast video because, once your little gnome is assembled, it goes really quick, right? And like I said in past sports videos, I try to keep them pretty clean and, clean looking, not too much stuff on there. So there is my little golfer. He's holding a little golf ball. He's got his little putter. You'll notice that I inked around his beard with some close to my heart white pigment ink just so the mustache pops a little bit. And then there is my sentiment, wishing you a Tee-Riffic birthday. So really simple. And I don't like golf either, so I'm not a sports person. Like I always say, it's like, eh. It doesn't interest me in the slightest. Unfortunately for my husband, right? He likes to watch some sports and I just, I tend to be watching my computer if he's watching sports. I'll sit here with him, but yuck. Okay, so now I am adding on some green stars from that October Sky Shape Sprinkles set from Doodlebug. So you get the shine, but you don't get the busyness because it kind of blends in with the green, right? So now I decided to recut out the little hole and the little golf ball, and I'm going to add that on the inside just for, a little decoration. And this is Paper Trank white and black cardstock. So there's my little hole sitting on the grass. And then I'm going to have the little golf ball kind of looking like it's going to go in the hole. And then that way you got a little bit of decoration on the inside. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, be inspired by the team, the Jaded Blossom store, to get your hands on these awesome products. And thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.